News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh, glad to be here with you. Thankful that you're here with us. We're live on YouTube this morning and CKLU 96.7 FM, cklu.ca. We're glad to have you on board. Thankful that you're here with us, watching or listening. Sorry for a little bit getting off to a little bit of a late start this morning. The program that we use in order to broadcast decided to do some really interesting things. And so we had to do some really interesting things to get the show up and running. And that leaves us without being on Facebook this morning for some strange reason. Facebook wasn't allowing the stream to go on, but YouTube did. And so we're on YouTube, youtube.com/Sudbury News. Let's see if we can... I put a post up on our Facebook page, so hopefully that's going to be, enough time for people to see and get on board. And hopefully everyone can see that now. Yesterday I posted that we wouldn't have a show at all because it was my 24th wedding anniversary, and we were... I had a job interview as well yesterday, and it just didn't seem like I would be able to fit in the show, unfortunately, because preparing for a job interview, when you really want to get the job, it takes a little bit of time to prepare for that. And then also, it was our wedding anniversary, and so it was just a packed day. Anyways, just whatever happened. So then this morning, try and come and get the show going, and the Circle of Death, I would have came on right on time. I was a little bit late coming into the studio. Everything was flowing. And then there's, just like the intro of the show says, anything can happen. So those of you who watch us on a regular basis on YouTube, you don't notice anything different. So make sure to comment today on YouTube, because we'll do our best to get your comments read for those listening to the radio or listening online at cklu.ca, and get them up on the screen. So I'm sure we won't have as many people on this morning as we usually do, because a lot of people for some reason have a hard time finding us on YouTube. It is youtube.com/Sudbury News. So if you type that in to your address bar, youtube.com/Sudbury News, you'll come right to the page. But a lot of people don't use address bars anymore, I noticed. I'm not sure why. But yeah, we've just gotten out of that, where everybody just uses the search feature on any particular website, and then that brings you to where you want to go. But it doesn't always do that. If the platform themselves don't want you to find that, they'll make it really hard if you just punch it in the search. But it's like going directly to the page if you use the address bar. On the top, just under the icons of your computer, you'll see the address bar where it says https://www. kind of thing. It shows the address. That's the address bar. And then you just punch it in there, youtube.com/Sudbury News, and it'll bring you right to our page. And now I'm going to be monitoring that on the computer here. So I just have to punch it in, and we'll see your comments live and see who's on. And yeah, I apologize again for that. We got a great show regardless. I was so excited. I was looking at the I was looking at all the news this morning, just preparing for the day, and I said, we got a lot of local news coming on. That's really exciting. and I want to talk about it. And we're going to have a great conversation this morning. And then, things happen. Life happens. You roll with the punches. You continue going. And for some reason, it says the page isn't available. Sorry about that. Try searching something else. So maybe today's the day that we're taken down from social media. We were expecting it at some point, from the YouTube and Facebook because of the legislation in government. We'll just switch gears then and go to our own website and maybe platforms like Rumble. So we'll still continue. We'll be on the radio and on cklu.ca. So that's that. I don't know what's happening, but it is what it is. Yeah, it says the page is not available. Unless that's what happened. Oh, that's coming anyways, but not today on YouTube. It's just that trying to do this on the fly, I put too many U's in Sudbury. I put 2 U's because of a delay on my my keyboard, and trying to type it. It didn't get the U, but then I typed it again, and there we are. So hopefully we'll see you all on YouTube this morning. So make sure to comment. We can get your comments read. But in the meantime, as my computer is super slow today, slower than usual, not sure why. It is what it is. We'll continue with the weather. And because weather's always happening, and we're wondering what's happening today as well. So let's just kick the show off, and we'll be back right after this. And Duck Check, thanks to Duck Check for partnering with us to put the weather on each and every day. Duck Check, make sure that the air quality in your home is as clean and pure as it possibly can be. They have the technology and they have the trustworthiness to make sure that your air is as clean as it possibly can be. Give them a call, 705-918-4848 or duckcheck.com. And that's not like the duck check, it's duct, D-U-C-T, ductcheck.com. Currently, it's 15 degrees out there. It's mostly cloudy. Today, we can expect increasing cloudiness, 70% chance of showers late this morning and this afternoon with a risk of thunderstorm. The wind will be gusting up to 40 and then in the morning, and then 60 near noon, then diminishing later in the afternoon. So noonish, it's going to be windy, high of 22. Today, the humid index will be 27. The UV index will be 6 or high. Tonight, partly cloudy with a 40% chance of showers. Early this evening, the wind will be coming from the southwest. Imagine that. And then a low of 11 tonight. And then Wednesday, cloudy, high of 18 with the UV index 6. Or wait, what was the UV index again? 5 or moderate. So again, cloudy, 18 degrees tomorrow, 22 degrees on Thursday, mix of sun and cloud. Same thing for Friday. Chance of showers, 60% chance of showers on Saturday, high of 23, mix of sun and cloud, 21 and 23 on Monday. Sunday and Monday, 21 and 22, mix of sun and cloud. That's your long range forecast. A look at your satellite. I guess you just see a lot of that cloud activity coming towards us, some of the clear skies. I noticed last night a lot of the geoengineering going on towards the evening. It was beautiful, pristine, clear blue skies most of the day, and then the jets started to come in and make sure that the cloud cover was started in the evening, so that way it can get on overnight and stuff like that. You probably noticed the same thing if you notice these things. But I noticed a meme on a story on Facebook saying, just trying to say that these are just contrails. It's just normal to have jet fuel going across your sky and then creating cloud cover and then it raining after. That's just normal contrails, nothing to see here. But anyways, we know something different to that, and we've had scientists featured on the show through different other podcasts and things explaining that it's the geoengineering. So I don't know why the narrative is still out there for people to believe that it's just something you've always seen your whole life. It's just contrails. It's just jets going across, making cloud cover and then raining after. It's just nothing to see here. But anyways, that's your weather. Brought to you by Duck Check. Give them a call, 705-918-4848 or duckcheck.com. Visit them there. They got the best of equipment and the best of know-how to make sure that the air that you breathe in your home is clean. We'll be back with your comments, news headlines, and more right after this. Stay tuned. It's going to be a great show, regardless if we're not on Facebook today. So yes, welcome back. And I know a lot of our people that are on YouTube each and every day are like, oh, there's nothing different today. You know, it's just a regular day for Sudbury News Talk here in the morning. But it was very different getting on this morning, I'll tell you that. So again, I'm not sure what kind of opposition, if any, there is going on, but it seems like that. Today was really hard to get on and whatever. There was the circle of death for a long time as I was trying to get the show up and running, and I knew something was on. And then at the end, I finally did it, and it said, oh, you can't get on Facebook. So maybe that's just something. We'll have to see what's happening. Nana, good morning. Hope you and your wife had a wonderful anniversary yesterday. Yes, we did. We just went out to dinner at a local restaurant. It was great. It was a few of our friends just had a makeshift last minute thing when they found out kind of thing. We weren't out there publicizing it all that much. And we just had a nice dinner after work and before the hockey game. Watching the Oilers lose last night, and that was an interesting game afterwards as well. So after our anniversary dinner, for those of you who watched the game, thank you, Bob Zinob. Congrats, 25th, amazing. You're still alive, yes. I was telling everybody that 25 years, but my wife says it feels like 50. So whether that's, no, she didn't say that. I just tell everyone. So Serenity Now, good morning. I believe that's Belinda. Yes, and it is, because Belinda has the positive statement of the day. There is a purpose for everyone you meet. Some will test you. Some will use you. Some will bring out the best in you, but everyone will teach you something about yourself. And that is so, so very true. We have to be thankful even for the people that add opposition to our lives and adversity, things like that, because it gives us the opportunity to grow and to choose to take the high road at all times, even though we're tempted to stoop to certain levels. But then there's others who teach us when we're doing that and we're the adversary to their life. And when they do the same, it teaches us something as well that we can adopt into our own lives. So sometimes we're the opposition to somebody or the adversity in their lives, and sometimes people are that to us. And it's good that we can be aware of that. But no matter what, we're going to learn, because everyone's going to teach us something about ourselves. Thank you very much, Belinda. Also, happy anniversary. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And definitely our words of wisdom. We're really grateful for Belinda each and every morning. So now we got some handles here that people on Facebook, I know you, and we're not on Facebook today. So I'm just going to say your handle. If I can kind of see through who you are, I'll do it. But Bingo. Good morning. And Belinda, the Liberals have lost the St. Paul riding last night that they have held onto for 30 years. The wind of change are upon us. Well, I guess that's probably the first of many, seeing how even diehard liberals that I know are very fed up with the way that the country is being run, and they can't have an election come any sooner, kind of thing. And they're happy to kind of have a change in this country, which I think most people are looking forward to. Linda, good morning from River Valley. And Bob says, whether or not you like it, weather happens. Yes, exactly. And good day, Monique. Thanks for being on. And this is Kevin. Yes, and I'm glad you said, because I remember last time you had told me that even though the handle says something different, that it's you. So good morning to everyone. Kevin says, hope you had a wonderful day yesterday. And I hope, you did as well, Kevin. Thank you for the message that you sent me, encouraging me on my interview yesterday as well. That really helped me and encouraged me, give me a little bit more confidence going in. And we're just going to let the chips lie where they may with that interview. Just so anyone knows, I interviewed for the same job where I work. If you change locations, you actually have to interview for that. You can't just change a location due to a collective bargaining agreement for the union. You just can't change locations. You have to apply for the job. And so sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. And so I've applied for the same job 4 times in 2 years and had to interview for it and had to write tests for the same job. So it's just interesting. But yesterday, again, and I don't know, there's other candidates who are just as qualified and can do the job just as well. And I may not end up with the situation that I would prefer, but it is what it is. But thank you so much for that message yesterday, Kevin. So Belinda also, Julian Assange has been freed. Prepare for truth bombs. Okay, that's awesome. Now I know a lot of people are after him and others who leak information, people in the know that but I don't know, Julian Assange, has he been out of the loop enough now that he has cutting edge information still? I would think so. He definitely did at the time. So we'll have to see that. Now, with YouTube, can I see how many people are actually on? I don't know. I can see on Facebook. But okay, it looks pretty up to date, and about the same amount of people watching on YouTube that we usually have on Facebook. So, okay, today we're working okay. Noticed a few headlines there. Just wanted to go through our headlines, local headlines, because there's some juicy ones. And then maybe we'll kind of dive into them as we're going, but I'd like to in the future just go through all the headlines and then pick a couple to go back and, go further into. But here again, Seniors Center in Sudbury frustrated. So this is all coming from Sudbury.news, our news aggregator here in the city. This is a service that we provide to the community and to the news outlets so that all their news comes onto one page at Sudbury.news. And it's basically CBC, Sudbury Star, CTV Northern Ontario, and Sudbury.com all in one location. Then you have right from the horse's mouth, you have the city of Sudbury. You have from the Newswire, right from their news feed, city of Sudbury, the provincial government, the federal government, and the Prime Minister's office on the right side. So if you would just want to see the latest that they're putting out right from their news feeds, you can see that too. But it's mainly for local news aggregator. And you can also catch our shows on demand at the Sudbury News Talk tab. We're gonna have that on the front page at some point though, so that way people don't have to go searching for it. Senior Center. This is coming from CBC this morning. Senior Center in Sudbury frustrated with nearby encampment. City says response has been slow. We talked about this on Friday. The Ukrainian Center in Sudbury said it's frustrated with the encampment of homeless people that has been set up near the building and disturbing its residents. The center is also upset with the city's response, saying it has been slow to address the issue. So frustrated seniors at the Ukrainian Senior Center. We played the video from CTV News where they were speaking about this, and the city basically said, yeah, when they leave, we'll clean it up for you. No problem. But again, previous shows, we talked about other municipalities too, where they can't just kick people out easily, from places. There's, I guess, human rights issues and things like that. The city isn't ready with certain policies on how to deal with this. There's a huge political movement for advocates on behalf of people experiencing homelessness, living in these conditions, to make sure that they are living in a safe environment. And so if the city comes in and does something to remove them, they may even have to take some force. And then once you start that, it goes down a slippery slope. And this is welcome to the new Canada. And it's going to get more and more like this as the policies we've seen adopted and the ideology of our leaders go down this road. You're going to see more and more of this unless something changes, unless something stops. This is your future. But it's unfortunate. There was another story that goes hand in hand with that I'll just, I noticed as I was reading through this morning. But it really does kind of go along with it. Here. Oh, and that's interesting that, when you've seen, there we go. So ageism, social isolation, harmful to seniors, Board of Health hears. So too many older citizens are not included or cared for in a way that makes them feel a part of the community. So that's a story from Sudbury.com. So seniors is a whole other thing today, as there's not even enough rooms for those that are looking to go into a long-term facility. There's not even enough rooms for people to go in. I don't know how we've ended up like that in our society, but we are here. I have a really good friend. She's now in her 90s, still lives on her own, is in a lot of pain, has to fend for herself. He doesn't even have people coming in to her apartment to help clean or anything like that, because when she's asked how she's doing, she's like, oh, I'm fine, because she doesn't want to burden anybody. And meanwhile, she has a need. She has need for help. And she's not in the greatest physical condition. But she's happy to say, I get by. I know I'm in pain and things, but I'll do my best. Anyways, so she's been wanting to get into, I think she's next on the list for Pioneer Manor. But she's not going in because she's told, and this is true, that we found through other close friends and a similar situation, that there's emergency patients that take your place and go in before you. And so there's too many emergency situations going in. She can't get in there. So we don't have enough rooms. There's, and now with, the senior center downtown at the Ukrainian Center, they have a homeless encampment right beside them. They don't feel safe because of that. Would you, if you had a homeless encampment like right at the other side of the fence of your yard, what are we doing for our seniors? What as a society? I heard some people saying how you treat your seniors is a reflection of your society, kind of thing. Now, do we all have grandparents or parents who are senior, elderly, at that stage in their lives? And what kind of life would we want for them? What are we expected to have when we get to that particular station in life as well, right? Like, what can we expect? There's some, huge issues with this. There's so many issues going on in Canada that this one is kind of getting buried under the rug. And it shouldn't be because it's huge. But again, a lot of issues going on. And good morning to Mona. Thanks for being with us. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on YouTube because that's where we're at this morning. Quite a few people on as well. So I'm glad that there was enough people to find us on YouTube today. We're not on Facebook. Belinda says the best interests are not high on the list for all people of Sudbury. They are more interested in sinking us in debt. Yes, we will be going from $40 million in debt 4 years ago to now $600 million in debt at high interest rates, I might add, because of inflation, which isn't great. And then back to, all of the other hot topics that we have going on in our world, Palestine and Israel, that is a huge, if not just huge, but possibly the hugest issue in the news going on today due to what could possibly come out of it, like World War III kind of thing. There's a lot of people who feel World War III has already started through the Ukraine situation and the war there. That's just, it's just been kind of going on, but that'll be the ambers or whatever, or the spark kind of thing that's just starting a small fire. Huge for them, but small for the world, if you will. But at the same time, then sparks other issues going on, and then it will just lead to all-out war everywhere. But this particular situation in Israel and Palestine has the potential of launching us into full-scale world war. There's no doubt about it. And here we have it in Sudbury as well. Story from CBC. Pro-Palestinian group in Sudbury calls for Canada to prohibit the sale of nickel to Israel. A pro-Palestinian group based in Sudbury is calling on the federal government to ban the sale of nickel to arms manufacturing, supplying Israel as the country's war against Hamas in Gaza continues. Now, no simple solution here, and nor would I ever think that there ever could be a simple solution. What is the solution to this particular turmoil that we have in the Middle East? I remember as a child, and I'm getting up there in age, as you can tell, that on the news, the Middle East has always been in commotion. Always. For as long as I can remember, in commotion. And I was always perplexed by that. I was like, why? Sure, you see other conflicts in the news and then they kind of come to a head and they figure themselves out. Either an all-out war comes and then there's a winner or something happens, or there's diplomacy and then, you have a result and it moves on and it's done. And maybe it'll come up at another time, and then come back, but it's never like constant. Like the Middle East is in constant turmoil. But now, have you noticed that the turmoil has kind of come here too, on our soil? Like the protests, like 10 years ago, the word protest, you'd see maybe the teachers outside of the schools on strike, or, the Union of City Workers with their signs going around the city hall. That was the extent, a strike. But fast forward 10 short years and there's all out like protests where there's damage to buildings, just full on, shutting things down and, similar, maybe not to the extent yet, but getting there, to what I was used to seeing on the news growing up in the Middle East. So somebody somewhere has managed to bring the same unresolved conflicts to our soil. And we're no longer immune from that. We are now being brought into it. So it used to be isolated, and now it is not. It's everywhere. So that's just an interesting observation. But here you have the pro-Palestine, or the anti-Israel, you might as well call them, the anti-Israel protesters, the calling for the stoppage of selling nickel to companies that make weapons. I mean, nickel is sold to somebody. What you do with it, again, right? These protests will never end. Everyone's going to have a cause. Everyone's going to be out there. It's almost like neighbor's going to rise up against neighbor or something, you know, and we're going to start hearing of wars and rumors of wars, something like that, constantly, something like that. But Belinda says a wolf pack always puts the sick and the old at the front of the pack so they don't get left behind, right? So even in the animal kingdom, nature itself takes care of their people that are vulnerable in their pack. Now others don't do the same. There are some that do the opposite, but anyways, as far as wolves are concerned, they do that. And I think as human beings, we need to take a lesson from the wolves and not from maybe some of the other animals that realize it's a weakness and cuts them out of the group, kind of thing. I don't have any examples now for that, but anyways, yes, Belinda, it's like an immigration invasion kind of thing, right? There's good and bad in that. I mean, there are some positives to immigration. However, done at the unprecedented rate that it has been going at is a concern. If you look at our population, it just moved past 41 million. Remember back in the day, it would just be like hovering at 37 million, and then 37, between 37 and 38 million. And anyways, it's just in the last 2 or 3 years, we've had millions added to our population, millions. Mostly done by government policies and them doing it on purpose, bringing in mass amounts of immigrants into the country, which creates then a housing shortage, which then creates it has an interesting effect on employment. If you look at just the entry-level job market out there, the jobs that you get without very much experience, the job that a student who comes out of grade 12 who just wants a summer job or just wants to, work a place where they can get a job where they don't have much education or much experience. It's an entry-level job somewhere. That market has been saturated. And so good luck to people trying to find these types of jobs. They're very hard to find these days. Now, if you consider the amount of people coming in illegally from the United States, or at least to the United States from other countries, however many of those make their way to Canada is not as many. I mean, not too many people actually want to, come to Canada. It's easier to get by if you're an illegal immigrant in the United States. That you can work for cash. There's a lot of jobs out there. Canada, try working for cash for somebody. It's very, very rare where you can do that. But in the United States, it's still pretty prevalent. So there's more work to be had. But the amount of people, do we realize the amount of people who have come in illegally across the southern border in the United States? So they're upwards between 30 million and 40 million people since the border has not been a priority for their latest federal government down there. So we're just talking about our population, how it's gone from like 37 million a few short years ago to 41 million in a short period of time. We just had the entire population of Canada cross the southern border illegally in the last 4 years. So just have that kind of resonate a little bit. The entire population of Canada's population, as it is now, has come into the United States over the last 4 years illegally. So it's like Canada just moves to the United States overnight kind of thing, the population. That's what just happened to their population. What does that do to a country? What does that do to North America, right? Lots of change is coming. A lot of change on our soil. There are going to be some good things. There's going to be some bad things happening. But just be aware, change is what's going on, and a lot of it, and in a short period of time. So the majority of people that are let in aren't vetted. Correct. Yeah, they don't know whether they are part of a terrorist organization, whether they have a criminal record, whether, you know what I mean? Like, they don't know who these people are. So how do they know what they're going to contribute or do to society here, right? It is what it is. And I know for a fact, because I speak to them one-on-one, people that have come into our country legally, and it's a long process if you want to do it, which I don't agree with how long of a process it is to begin with. It opens the door for stuff like this to happen. It should be just straightforward, and you should be able to tell if somebody will be a good fit for Canada or not, and come on in if you are. Go through the proper legal channels. There's protocol to do not at a rate that we've seen, that we don't have the infrastructure to handle. Now it's creating all kinds of chaos and problems that we're going to have to deal with. Like, what does it do to the healthcare alone? Like, do you remember before our mass immigration, have you had to go to the ER at all? And what was your experience? Did you get healthcare fairly quickly? And was it really good quality healthcare? Well, now what can you expect? Like, so if you bring in a few million people in a few short years, and we have healthcare for everyone, right? So free healthcare. There's a lot of people out there who think that's so good. It's the best in the world because it's free, but it's not free. We pay for it, right? Your tax dollars pay for it. So if you thought you had bad quality healthcare before and couldn't get a doctor, or long wait times at the ER, or there was no beds left in the hospital before, if you bring in 3-4 million people in a few short years into the country, that you're already experiencing a healthcare crisis, and because now they are here and part of Canada and they have access to the same healthcare, it's a no-brainer. And if we're not going to be living in tents beside the seniors center downtown, we'll need a house to live in. Well, how can you bring that many people into a country in that short of time and have enough housing? Weren't we already experiencing higher than normal prices in larger centers before the mass immigration? Yes. So what does it do to that? It just makes it worse. So again, no kind of foresight on behalf of the people that were making these decisions. Again, right? I understand you can't have mass immigration. You can't prepare for that ahead of time. It's not like you're going to go and build millions of homes and then have people come over. I know that's not economically feasible, but you also can't bring millions of people over without homes built either. So you have to find somewhere in between there. And good morning, Brian. Just arrived. Good morning, Patriots. And La La Land. Good morning, smiley emoji. And I apologize for just reading the handle. I know you're probably on Facebook every day because we're not on Facebook today. You're just joining us on YouTube, and you'll have a different handle for YouTube than you would on YouTube. Okay, so here's another story. This one from Sudbury.com. Conservatives avoid staking out clear position on supervised consumption sites as debate around the Liberals' drug policy. So they have an immigration policy. We're just talking about how good that is for Canada. They also have a drug policy, which we can see how good that's doing for our country as well, right? So has the drug situation gotten better since the Liberals have been in power or worse? You answer that. So as debate around the Liberals' drug policy dominated parts of the spring House of Commons sitting, the Conservatives are offering little insight into what approach they would take when it comes to supervised consumption sites. I know what approach I would take, and that would be, keep the safe consumption site and add on to it a rehabilitation, full-on rehabilitation center. That takes you from consumption to rehabilitated off of drugs at the end. Like you can imagine a little factory. You walk in, you can get off the hard drugs for a particular amount of time. There's a time limit on it. You move forward to the next stage, which would be, a facility where you can stay drug-free with doctors and nurses who understand when you come off of a drug that you've been on for a long time, and you're able to go through withdrawals in a really peaceful setting where you have a lot of supports. And then you work with people who have done it themselves. So they're there saying, I did it. It's not easy. Just keep it up. And so they become mentors for people. And then at the end, they're taking a class on, how you can become someone who helps others get off of drugs. And then that would be what I would do, and just perpetuate that. So anyone who's on the street, they know, hey, you go into that safe consumption site, man, you can come out clean at the end of it, and you'll have your life back, or you'll at least be able to experience life for the first time. That's what I would do. And you don't have to go if you don't want to be rehabilitated. You don't have to do that. And you're not forced. I remember somebody made a comment saying, well, you can't force someone to come out. No, you don't force people to do it. You let them know it's there. Right now, they don't even realize. Like, there's no clear path. Somebody doesn't say, okay, here you are. You're at this point in your life. You're offering you safe drugs. You're in there. Well, did you know there's a next step to this too? Did you know that you could make the decision if you want to be clean and come this way? Right now, the safe consumption site doesn't offer that. It just continually keeps you consuming safe drugs. And then it's just, you're back on the street. You don't have a place to live. You're not sure you got safe drugs you're taking. That's it. That's the end. That's the end of the plan. Like liberals talk about conservatives not having a plan. Well, that's a pretty great example of when you've been in power for almost 10 years and what you're doing shows you don't have a plan. Your plan is to just keep people on drugs. That's not a great plan to me anyways. Sure, it's part of a plan. It's like if I was saying, we really need some relaxation time. There's a problem. You haven't de-stressed very much. Maybe going on a vacation is a great idea. Yeah, let's have a service where we just pack your luggage for you. Okay, yeah, I can't wait to. No, we're just going to pack your luggage over and over. You're going to pack your luggage and then you leave. And then you come back and pack your luggage again and then you leave. Yeah, but isn't there anything else involved in going on a trip? You know what I mean? Like, going to the airport, getting in a plane, flying somewhere, enjoying the place you're at, coming back. There's other things involved in a vacation, not just packing. It's the same idea. There's a drug problem. So there's a problem. There's too many people in our society addicted to drugs and living on the streets. That is a problem. What are you going to do about it? Just give people more drugs. Yeah, we'll see how that's going to go for you. And we've been seeing it for the last 10 years. How is it going? Is the drug situation getting any better? You ask yourself this. I won't even give you my opinion. Well, I give you my opinion of what I would do with these places. Yeah, it is next to impossible because you need people to come on board with it. But Alberta, if you just look at what Alberta is doing, it's similar to that. Like they have a plan similar to what I was just proposing. The purpose of human life is to serve and to show compassion in the world and help others. That's how we move on, and that's how we ascend. Yes, for sure, exactly. So with that, you got the last word, and we came on a bit late, and we got to get to Earshot Daily on CKLU, so we got to get going. But hopefully we'll be back on Facebook tomorrow. Hopefully I can figure that out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you, and we'll see you same time, same place tomorrow, plus Facebook, hopefully. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow, God willing. Thanks. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.